we go. Oh, I'm so happy I picked up this spinnerbait. All right, good deal. I'm gonna do some power fishing today, folks. It's Cornell with YouTube Fishing Vids. Welcome aboard. And I got an itty bitty little spinnerbait out here on another mountain lake. I'm actually up here in the Cunningham Falls State Park, not too far from my house, maybe about an hour. And the wind's blowing, and I got an itty bitty little Lil Money out of one of those little spinnerbaits by Strike King. So I haven't been throwing it long, and this wind's picking up. I've got chunk rock, and I got a really unique situation. This is what they call the fall drawdown. So this lake gets really, really low in the fall and winter, and everything's exposed. I can pretty much see everything that's going on, and what would have been going on if I had been able to see through the water in the summertime out here. So I'm gonna keep throwing this spinnerbait, see if we can pick up something more than a dink. With this fall drawdown, we actually end up getting a little bit of color to the water. So there's this little green tinge to it, which makes it a perfect situation for a little spinnerbait like this. I got a tiny bit of thump coming out of these twin Colorado blades. The white color is absolutely perfect with this little barely sun, a little bit of clouds. And yeah, and this setup I'm throwing it on, I gotta tell you guys, this is 12-pound test fluorocarbon on a 6'8" crucial rod, a medium power, extra fast action with a Team Lose Light LFS bait casting reel. This thing is ultra light. So throwing this little 1/4 ounce spinnerbait, it launches it. It's super sensitive. I can get it out there and just get it moving. Steady retrieve, a couple twitches to get that spinnerbait flaring, and hopefully going to be picking up a few more of these mountain bass. I really hope it's a power fishing kind of day today. If I'm already catching them like that fast on a spinnerbait, I've got a little crankbait tied on. I've got a swim jig tied on. I've got all the other stuff. I've got my shaky head. I've got my drop shot. I got that whole routine. But with this wind and this pelican, it's never a good combo. So being able to move with the wind, cover the shorelines, and beat up the banks, it's actually a treat. There we go. Stay on. Sweet. Ah, a little better fish. I love it. All right, that's only been about, I don't know, 8 casts. 8 casts since that last one. If you just upgraded a tiny little bit, so not much, but that's just too cool. I love doing some power fishing. It's not often seen. I actually had a comment on one of my most recent videos. It seems like, you know, 95% of your fishing is finesse, and a lot of times it is. I'm in that kind of zone. I've got pressured bodies of water near my home, and I've got clear bodies of water near my home. But in this situation with a fall drawdown, like I said, a little color and a little bit of wind goes a long way. I definitely have a trailer hook on that. So that has a trailer hook, ultra sharp. I sharpened the heck out of these hooks. Folks, I'm telling you, if you're fishing, if you're doing any power fishing, from crankbaits to chatterbaits to your spinnerbaits, make sure those hooks are sharp. Dig them into your nail at a 45-degree angle. If it's not catching on its own at 45 degrees, that hook is not sharp enough. So if you haven't seen a good way to sharpen your hooks, I'm sure there's plenty of videos out there on YouTube. Just take a look out there and get yourself a good honing sharpener and get those hooks sharp. It's going to make a huge difference. Wind is hustling now, and I'm coming up on a good laydown right here. Hopefully I'll pick one up just sitting right on top of some of these limbs. So hang tight. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Most cover I've come up in a while, but it is blowing now. There we go. There. Oh, I felt that short strike, and I lost him right here by the dams. That was a bigger fish. That was about a 2-pounder. So there's fish number 3 as the wind continues to blow. Oh, I felt that bite. Let's see what we got here. Oh, a decent fish. Did he get off? Oh, that's 2 fish in a row. My hooks are sharp. I promise. That just tells the tale. I think these fish are short striking. This one doesn't have a trailer hook on it, but check it out. That's my Finch Nasty Thumper in bluegill. I love this vibrating jig. So yeah, I've been only throwing this for probably about 5 minutes. the wind's blowing hard from my back, so I'm cruising against the wind and letting it just take me with this pelican down the bank here, and I'm just beating up the bank. And that's the fourth bass, two for four, unfortunately, but all on power fishing. Got him that time. Good deal. Let's see if this one stays buttoned. All right, got him on the vibrating jig. That's only 4 casts later. Again, nothing huge, but I'm power fishing. I'm just loving it. So that's two different techniques, the vibrating jig and the little finessey spinnerbait. 2 different colors too, and they're both working. So they are chasing today. Fishing this nasty Thumper, Finch Nasty vibrating jig on my everything rod. This is my 7-foot St. Croix Avid rod, 7-foot medium action fast taper. It's an absolutely perfect rod. I've got a Speed Spool Tournament Pro, one of the older Lose reels on here with 15-pound test Seagar and Viz X fluorocarbon, just for everything. Spinner baits, vibrating jigs, swim baits, I mean rattle traps. There's so many things I throw on this rod and reel combo. It's unbelievable. So if there was ever one rod to have when it comes to a little bit of power fishing, this is a great option to have. It could even work for crankbaits and things like that. It doesn't have that moderate action which you might need for the treble hooks and whatnot, but if you've got a single hook bait like spinner baits, lipless crankbaits, but vibrating jigs and such, and there's a good fish right there. As I'm talking it up, that's a good one. I hope it's a good one. Let's see. It felt a little bigger than it was, but it's still a decent fish. All right, cool. So check that out as I'm talking smack about my rod and reel combo. All right, there's number 2 fish in the boat. Number 3 hit on the Finch Nasty Thumper. I love this vibrating jig. It kills it. This is nothing but a straight retrieve. This particular vibrating jig actually vibrates. It actually continues to vibrate and always vibrates. When I'm reeling this thing, I'm feeling every thump of the Nasty Thumper in my hand. You know, so many different kind of vibrating jigs. You gotta twitch them, you gotta get them to kick into play. I mean, these things, there's nothing to this bait. When it comes to vibrating, it does its job. I mean, that's probably one of the biggest complaints most people have about vibrating jigs is they just don't vibrate. You can't get them to work the way they're supposed to work. This one's an always vibrating deal, and I love it. Trailers, there's so many trailer options. This particular trailer is pretty subtle. It's that Lake Fork. I don't remember. I'm gonna put the link down in the description below, guys. That's that jointed soft plastic trailer. It's awesome. I dipped the tail. Of course, that's a bluegill pattern, so I dipped the tail in a little chartreuse. That's a green pumpkin, but that's an absolutely awesome trailer. It really gives off tons of action with this Nasty Thumper and works really well. I'll put the link in the description below so you know exactly what Lake Fork trailer it is. So that's not a bad deal. That's a short drift from a point to the dam. Picked up 2 in the boat and hooked another one. So 3 fish on that drift. Now I'm down here by the dam, hopefully to pick up that missed fish with a spinner bait. So I'll fish this jetty wall for a little while, and then I'll go back and I'll head up and I'll do another drift on the opposite side of the lake where I was fishing the spinner bait, and do another drift down that bank with the vibrating jig. See what happens. Okay, so I'm set up on the opposite side of the lake. The wind's died down a little bit, but I didn't tell you, that's, by the way, a 3/8 of an ounce Finch Nasty Thumper. Something really interesting about this side of the lake, rocks and wood and virtually no weeds. The opposite side where I was just fishing is just all weed edge. There's really not too many laydowns, a couple here and there, but this whole bank is nothing but chunk rock, pebble rock, a few transitions and some wood. So this is gonna be a really interesting option to throw this Nasty Thumper. This is the same vibrating jig that I was throwing in a video that ultimately caused me to have the most emotional day on the water I've ever had. I'm gonna leave the link in the description below. If y'all haven't seen it, I'm not gonna give it away, but you need to go check that video out. This Nasty Thumper has definitely done some damage in the past, and you definitely need to check out that link. There we go, right off the wood. Perfect. You guys can see it. That's the type of cover we're looking for, and that's the kind of bait to use. Going right over the top of it, and literally it's been no more than like 10 casts on this bank, so doing good on some power fishing. Nothing huge, but we got some action. When it comes to throwing a vibrating jig, if I don't have wind, I definitely want a little bit of color to the water as much as it's vibrating, and even better, cloud cover. So cloud cover and a little bit of stain is a perfect scenario for the vibrating jig. Wind, clear water, and sun is a really great time for that really flashy spinnerbait situation. So depending on what your situation is, the spinnerbait versus vibrating jig battle rages on. So yeah, just keep testing your waters and keep challenging yourself with different baits, and you'll find out what they want. These fish are really shallow. I'm throwing right to the bank. I'm actually trying to hit the bank as best I can, and I'm at an angle, so I'm basically trying to cover all that shallow water. I don't need to throw straight to the bank and bring it right back out to me. I want to throw it at an angle so I keep that bait in the strike zone just a little bit longer, and definitely want to be going over a lot of this fallen timber, banging into it as best I can, making contact and trying to get that reaction bite. And hitting the bank like that is also so important. If you don't hit the bank, you've got the chance of dropping your bait right on top of the bass's head and spooking him, and or just not getting an opportunity to have him react to a bait that's looking like something jumping right on the shoreline, either something getting away from something chasing it down, or something that's literally jumping in the water like a frog or any other critter they want to eat. There we go, guys. All right, let's see if this is a better fish. Oh, it's a decent one. Good, right back to the dam. You know, I was starting to think that with no wind, I'm gonna have a struggle here, but this is another little nice fish. Nothing too bad. Let's see if I can flip it in. That's giving me a little bit of a pull. There we go. Yep, that's the biggest fish of the day. It's got a little bit of a gut on it, and it's still on. You know, the wind was up and the wind was down. I'm all the way to the end of my little drift, down by the dam with all this mess of wood and everything else. It makes sense there's another bass there, so let's keep going. My luck charm again, I think. I got a buddy up on the bank, and I think the second I saw her, I started catching fish, so she's got to be my good luck charm. All right, there's number two right here by the dam, guys. It's still on. Oh, there we go. This is a great little spot right here down by the dam. They're still biting, nothing big, but there's some nice little chunks out here in this little mountain reservoir. It's just been a perfect day for power fishing. Love it. There we go. Thought I'd get one right there off this rocky point. I love it. This has been such a great day. Gosh, let's see, is it a bigger fish? Let's see what we got. That's digging pretty good. Sometimes you can never tell what you're gonna deal with until it gets you. He's swimming at me the whole time. Let's see if he pulls back. Nope, nothing crazy. Gosh, but he's just another nice chunk up here in the mountains of Maryland. Folks, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. It's been a great day. It's getting a little bit late. Great numbers, and the the winner of the day is the Finch Nasty Thumper, that awesome vibrating jig in the bluegill color. So there we go, one more bass for the road, folks. As always, I appreciate you joining me. As always, I appreciate you subscribing. Until we meet again, over and out.